Hello friends, it's Candace and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about, I guess, just custom ordering things from your piercer. Now, someone in one of my last videos, probably weeks ago by now, I don't know when I'm posting this, but someone commented asking this question. Maybe I'll take a screenshot and put it up. I'll just read the whole thing. Hi, could you maybe make a video about how to get BVLA pieces? Because I want to buy a piece, a custom piece actually, but I find their website really confusing and I can't find any proper information anywhere. I can't find, oh wait, I literally just read that. I know I have to order through a piercer, but I kind of want to know what to expect before going into the process with them. Like, how do I explain the shape I want and what prices I could expect? I'm not asking for the prices you paid, that's private, but if it turns out to be very expensive, I'd feel so awkward backing out. Considering you have multiple BVLA pieces, could you maybe explain the process? So, I can definitely answer some of these questions. Now, my hair feels tingly. Now, before I really dive in, I would like to note that while I have purchased BVLA pieces and I have custom ordered BVLA pieces, I've never made my own custom BVLA piece. Let me try to explain that. So, everything I've ever ordered from BVLA, the customization I'm ordering is usually the types of gemstone, like turquoise, sapphire, CZ, and just ordering it that my piercer doesn't stock it. So usually I'm just ordering a pre-existing piece of jewelry, someone already designed like how it looks, and I'm just choosing the stones that go in it and the size that I want it. But the piece already exists in the world. So I'm not sure if you're actually asking about how to make a custom, like fully custom, like you have a specific design you want on your head, you've never seen anyone make it before, and you want to go about ordering that. I personally have never done that. I've never like custom designed my own piece of jewelry, if that makes sense. I've only ever found a SKU I liked, like I found a piece of jewelry that I like, that I went to my piercer and was like, I want this with this stone, this stone, this stone, blah blah blah, this is how I want it, this is the size I want it, and I order it that way. So I don't know if I'm going to be much help regarding a fully custom original idea of ordering jewelry from BVLA, but I could probably help you just know what to expect and maybe give you a little bit of guidance / reassurance on what to expect, basically. So let's just get into it. So what do you do just in general if you want something custom from BVLA? Say your piercer or any like high-end jewelry company, you could get something custom, like a custom gemstone, whatever, anatometal, Leroy, body gems. You could probably do custom things for all of them. This person is specifically asking for BVLA. I understand, I love BVLA, they have a lot of variety, blah blah blah. We're going on a tangent. Anyway, so when it comes to ordering something custom from BVLA, what I normally do is, usually I'm obsessive about things, and usually I don't, who am I? Like, sometimes I spend money, like, just right away. When it comes to something custom, I can't just, like, be like, hey, I want that, order it. Because usually, they don't have the gemstone I want, they don't have the size I want, they don't have the gold color I want. Wherever I'm finding this jewelry that I like, they just don't have the kind I want. You know what I mean? So, for instance, this turquoise mini candy on my nose, I had to order that for my piercer. Not, as far as I can tell, I've looked a lot of places online when I went to buy this anyway. Not a lot of places do turquoise mixed with yellow gold, and not a lot of websites I don't know, not a lot of websites even carry like turquoise, let alone with yellow gold for any piece of body jewelry. So for a lot of my turquoise pieces, I've had to order it. So basically, for instance, for this, I knew I wanted to make mini candy. I already had two opal mini candies, and I wanted turquoise ones for my paired nostrils. I only had the high ones, that like higher up ones. They're not high nostrils, but I only had the higher up nostrils at the time, and I wanted a matching set. But there was no other place I could get a turquoise mini candy in yellow gold. So all I did, first, to find out how much it costs for something like this, it's kind of small. There's mini candies for sale everywhere. I think when I looked, I think mini candies were around $140. Like whatever type of gem it is. Obviously, a diamond was like, I think maybe closer to like $180 or $190 or something. But then like some CZs were like $140 or something. I'm not sure. So I kind of knew ahead of time. Like if it's a pre-existing piece, if you're looking around on the internet, if you can find stores to shop and buy some body jewelry from, let me know if you want links to some websites that I have found body jewelry that I trust to buy it from, especially BVLA. There's not a lot. There's not like a super ton of web stores out there. And even at that rate, usually the web stores are really lacking and really limited because usually the piercers are selling directly to their own customers. And custom body jewelry is not typically something that good piercers like to just sell to the masses in general, because things can go wrong in terms of fit, size, style. You can't really return these things. Anyway, I digress, my tangents. So basically, if it's a pre-existing piece that you're looking for, I would go on websites. First of all, see if you can find what you want. It might save you the hassle of like going someplace, placing the order, and waiting for it to be picked up. But searching the internet and trying to find the piece that you want with the right stones, you're probably going to get an idea of how much. For instance, I got an idea of how much the mini candy cost when I was ordering my DeSimone pieces. I kind of had an idea of what they might cost by looking around at what other things. Now, sometimes the gemstones that you're looking for might change the price. Obviously, a diamond's going to be worth more than CZ, but I don't know off the top of my head the difference between diamond and opal and turquoise and sapphire and amethyst and rutilated quartz, or there's so many different gemstones that could cost different prices. So there is some fluctuation, especially depending on the size of the gemstone. So the mini candy gemstone, if that was a diamond, that's going to be very different than the DeSimone gemstone middle. You know what I mean? Man, this is a big tangent. So take it with a grain of salt, but a good way to figure out what price things are going to be before you go in is basically searching for the thing that you want ahead of time. So beyond that, I knew there was no place in the world, at least at the moment, that I could find yellow gold mini candy with turquoise ready to buy. So I went to my piercer. I kind of knew what to expect, but regardless, at least for my piercer, they tell me, and I assume it's like this for everyone, because gold prices change, stones change, like the price isn't always the same for body jewelry. That's the same thing for any fine jewelry, like any gold, like gold prices change, like prices might change depending on a lot of different factors that I'm not aware of. So when you go in to say, hey, I want to order a mini candy with turquoise, I want to order the DeSimone with opals and CZs, whatever, like those are things that I have ordered. They say the piercer won't tell you a price. They have no way of typing it up in their system and telling you how much it's going to cost. At least at my piercer, and I assume most other piercers would be a similar way, because I think this is how BVLA kind of works. The piercer will take down the specs that you're looking for, and they're going to get a price quote. So no matter what you're doing, whether you want to order something or just check the price of something, they have to write everything down and put it into BVLA's system to hear back from BVLA to find the price. So you can't just go to a piercer and be like, hey, how much is this if I custom order it? They have to fully do the sending it in and then getting back to you within a few weeks to let you know how much it costs. Sorry, I had to plug in my laptop because it was dying, and it is my microphone. So yeah, like I was saying, if you want to know the price of something before you order it, that's basically how custom ordering things from BVLA works anyway. If it's something pre-existing, if it's a pre-existing design and you want to know about how much it might cost, I would definitely look around on the internet first, see what kinds of things that you like. Like for me, the mini candy, I knew it would be like about $140 to $180, more or less. And I saved up for that amount before I even went to the piercer. You know what I mean? Now, if you're looking to get something even bigger, at least this was last year. If you want anything like a clicker or something from BVLA, as far as I'm aware, those tend to be around like $2,000, especially if it's anything with gemstones. That's not even including like diamond gemstones. So like clickers are expensive, like the mechanism, it's a lot of gold. Gold is expensive, especially this past year. I believe the price has gone up. So it's probably even more than that now, especially if you want anything with a thicker gauge. If you want to order like a solid gold post too. I'm not sure if BVLA does posts. I don't buy gold posts right now. Like maybe if I get a lot more money, I can like make my posts gold too, but I'm not really like interested in that. This is a tangent nobody asked for. So basically, if you're looking for custom jewelry and it's a pre-existing design already, look around on the internet. That's going to be your best bet on finding out about how much something you want might cost ahead of time. Now, if you're talking about custom ordering something that's like a completely unique and custom design, that one's going to be a little bit harder, but I would say regardless of all of that, you should probably go to your piercer to ask this question. I know that's not really what you want to hear, but I would be frank with your piercer. Just say, hey, this is my budget. First of all, if you're looking for something solid gold and fully custom, like a fully custom design anyway, you got to think of what that will entail. Depending on the design, you're asking these jewelry makers to hand make something for you. Even if it's straight out of your brain, they also have to artistically like put that together. Whether they're making a mold for you, like a brand new mold, or they're building something from scratch specifically for you, even if it ends up being something they reproduce later on, yours is going to probably be the first mold. You know what I mean? So if it's something they need to mold or cast or sculpt as an original in any way, I would assume that's going to be a lot more expensive than something that already exists. And yeah, I think as a general thing, I would expect that to be much, much more expensive than like, say you like the size of the decimone and what you're thinking of is going to be about the same size. I don't think that you would be able to say, hey, they're about the same size. They probably have the same amount of gold in it. They probably have the same amount of gemstones. It's not going to be like that for you, because if you're ordering something completely fully custom, there's probably going to be some greater expense that I'm not aware of. But if you are going to a piercer to order it anyway, it's worth an ask for them to say, hey, does it cost any more to get something that's completely fully custom? Because I would guess yes. And if you're worried about showing up and not having the money to buy it, just be upfront with your piercer about it. Just be like, hey, I'm not sure how much money to save up for something like this. And the piercer, if they work with BVLA already, they probably know things like that, or they have access to things like that. You don't have to go through the whole like deciding what you want, how it's going to look, and all that stuff before you really find out the price, like before you find out maybe a general price. They probably won't give you an exact general price, but if you go to a piercer that does custom jewelry very frequently, you could probably get an answer of, hey, anything custom like that is going to start between, like, I don't know, could be $1,000, could be $2,000 just for the making a brand new piece of jewelry itself. You know what I mean? So I would ask around, ask piercers. So I would definitely go to piercers who have experience with that, or who can ask BVLA directly, like, hey, how much would something like this, like, say, I mean, like, I don't know, say you want a piece of jewelry that looks like a pencil sharpener or something, and that doesn't exist anywhere else. I would say, like, hey, I would go to your piercer and be like, hey, I want a piece of jewelry that looks like a pencil sharpener. And then they'll be like, okay, what size, like, blah, blah, blah. It'd be like, oh, maybe like 5 millimeters. I want it to fit for this piercing. And then they could be like, okay, let me go see BVLA and see how much that might cost for them to make. And then even beyond that, you could go to your piercer and say, hey, I have a budget of, I don't know, I'm not sure what your budget is, but say maybe $500. You can go to your piercer and say, hey, I have a budget of $500, but I really want a custom pencil sharpener earring. Do you think that's possible? And they might say yes or no, or they might say, hey, I'm going to need to talk to BVLA and see what they can do. And then at that rate, if you're open with your piercer from the very start, saying, hey, I only have budgeted $500 for this, then when your piercer comes back and says, oh no, this is going to cost $1,000, $2,000, or if they come back right away saying, oh, custom pieces start at about $1,000, then you know, okay, I'll save up more money and I'll come back to talk to it once I have more money saved up. Either way, if you're worried about the budget or the price of something, I would definitely be upfront about that from the very beginning. That way you can get ahead of any of that, like, awkward backing out that you're worried about. A piercer is not going to be mad at you for backing out of something for being too expensive. I have definitely gone to my piercer a few times asking for the price of a few different things, just to ask since I'm there. They send in price quotes for things on a regular basis, and I'm sure it wouldn't be a hassle at all to just send in something like, hey, how much would this cost? And then it comes back. And then at my piercer, they just give me a phone call and let me know how much it costs. And then I say, okay, thanks. And then I hang up. And then it's up to me to come in and actually order the piece, or just let that price quote fall away because I'm not getting that. And when I was ordering my cherry blossom, I ordered the cherry blossom and cherry blossom cluster. I think I got a price quote for something else at the same time, but I couldn't afford to get everything at the same time. And I think I did the same thing. I think I did a price quote for the cherry blossoms the first time I was interested in getting it. But then I guess I didn't realize how much it would cost or something. I'm not really sure what I did actually. But I think I also did a price quote about a ring, like a clicker ring, and it came back $2,000, and I was like, okay, thank you. And I just didn't place the order. And I feel like that probably happens a lot when you go to piercers and high quality piercers. I feel like not everyone who's buying high quality or gold body jewelry, not everyone can afford to just drop like $5,000 on a piece of jewelry. And I don't think any piercer expects everyone to just have that money. They probably expect people to be interested in higher quality jewelry than they can afford or they can expend the money for at that moment. People probably very frequently come in asking for price quotes on things just to shop around, because I feel like people like to know what they're buying ahead of time. So that's in terms of going to your piercer and asking for something. I feel like it's very normal to ask for price quotes. It's probably expected they have to get a price quote before they can charge you anyway, and they're not necessarily expecting you to buy it right then and there when they get the information back. They usually get the information back when you're not still in the studio, so it's not going to be like, oh, it's that much? Okay, bye. Like, they're probably going to give you a phone call or an email, however your shop does its work, and they'll let you know how much it costs and say, hey, if you want to buy it, you can come on in and buy it. And if you don't, then the price quote's going to be sitting there for you for a few months if you decide to come in those next few months. So you might even have time to save up for it a little bit before you go back to buy it. But if you wait too long, they might have gotten rid of the price quote. It depends on how your shop operates. Maybe if you don't want to order it right away, the shop near you might throw away the price quote right away. I find that hard to believe since they have to send in for it. Like, that seems like it's some work. They probably hold on to it for at least a little while. Either way, I'm rambling on about that, but I could also go into more of what to expect when you order custom things from BVLA. So, in my experience ordering things from BVLA, custom things, not custom made like settings, but like custom made like my gold color and my gem types. Basically, I go into the shop, say, hey, I'm looking to get this with this gem or this, or you could even ask your piercer for advice. I usually know what I want ahead of time because I have too much anxiety to go in kind of with nothing in mind. But I just tell them what I want. They send it out to get a price quote so that they are able to charge me what it's worth. Then I think a week or two, maybe 3 passes by. I don't remember. It's been like a year, I think, since I bought any jewelry. They give me a call. They say, hey, that's going to cost that much. And I'm like, okay, thank you. Then, whether or not I decide to buy it, I go to the piercer. I pay for it. Now, my piercer, you can pay for half of it and then pay the rest when it shows up. I always pay for the whole thing right up front, just so I don't have to like make sure I set aside a certain amount for whenever it actually comes in, because the piece of jewelry is just ordered at that point. They don't have it in stock when you pay for it, or at least when you pay for at least half of it. So it's just sort of like buying a wedding dress or something. You have to put some money down, and then once it comes in, you pay the rest. Or you could pay the whole thing up front, and then when it comes in, you already paid for it all. It's kind of the same concept. So you're putting in at least like the minimum amount for them to order it, so it's worth it for them to actually order it. They know they're not like going to lose money on this custom piece of jewelry. And if you don't end up having the money at the end of the day, then they are able to then sell it to someone, probably at a discount for them, so they can actually move the stock. Because with something super custom, maybe a lot of people don't like turquoise with yellow gold. That way they're actually able to sell it if you don't pick it up. Like if, say, you can't afford to pay off the remaining balance of how much it's worth and you're not able to like finish purchasing it, they would then be able to sell it and not be at a loss because you already paid for part of it, which is why they ordered it in the first place. Anyway, once you order it, I'm not sure if BVLA is still on any back order, but at the beginning of the Panini they were, because I think they had to close down for a while. But even without that, it probably takes at least a few months for this jewelry to come in. So once you place the order, once you pay for it, then they actually send it out to BVLA. This is what we're ordering. Make it as soon as you can. And sometimes this list is really long, and it will usually be, at least in my experience, it has been at least like 3 months every time I've ever ordered anything custom from BVLA. So don't expect to order it and then get it within like a week or two. It's going to be months, especially if they're still on any sort of back order from like things building up with the, the Canona happening and everything. It could take months and months for your piece of jewelry to come in. So make sure you pay for it, set the money aside, or pay for it in full, and then just wait for the phone call from your piercer for when it's in. Don't expect it to be any time. It's never an exact time for that. That's why I like to pay for it in full. That way I don't have to pay anything when I go to pick it up, and that way I can just like pay for it and just like forget about it. I don't have to like keep the money aside. I don't have to whatever. Just one day I get a phone call from my piercer and I got jewelry to pick up. It's so great. Oh, so great. Oh, I wish I could buy jewelry. But yeah, so that's kind of what to expect when buying things from BVLA. I hope this video made some sense to you. If it didn't, let me just go over some of these questions. How to explain the shape I want and what prices I would expect. If you want a specific shape when you're custom ordering things, I would definitely try to like draw it out. Like if you want like clusters, try to learn what things are in terms of prong settings or a bezel setting, or just like shapes of stones. Like try to learn what aspects, or look at other pieces of jewelry that already exist and say, hey, I like the way this gem is sitting in here, or I like the prongs on this, but I don't like how it does this. Bring all that information together when you go to your piercer to try to find exactly what you're looking for. And definitely, if you have like a specific arrangement in mind of how you would like the piece of jewelry to look, definitely come in with a drawing to your piercer. I feel like that would be the easiest way to convey it, even if it's just like circles and dots or just shapes. It doesn't have to be too complicated. It's up to the people at BVLA to like interpret that, and your piercer to help convey what you mean. So as long as you're trying to be expressive as possible, be as exact as possible for what you want, but then let the jewelry makers do what they know is best at the same time. Like don't be too exact, because you know what you might think might work, they might be like, hey, that's never gonna work. That jewelry will fall apart in a second. So come in with exactly what you want, but be open to your piercer saying, hey, that might not actually work, that might irritate your piercing, this might not work, we gotta ask BVLA if this piece of jewelry can be made at all. You know what I mean? Let's see, blah blah blah. For prices, especially if you want something big, I would save up, before you go in, I would save up a solid like $1,000, but I would save up $2,000 or $3,000. Gold jewelry, especially custom gold body jewelry, can get very expensive very, very quickly. You could just look on any website that sells really high-end body jewelry to find that out very quickly, and it doesn't have to be diamonds. It can be CZs all around, and the fact that it's a gold 14 gauge clicker is going to make it probably at least $1,000. You know what I mean? So definitely just save up. Expect it to be a couple $1,000s if you want something not this big. It's probably still going to be like that big, but save up over $1,000 before you even really look into it. Look at things the size that you want. Look at things the shape that you want. And at the end of the day, just ask your piercer. They're there to help you, and they want to help give you some cool jewelry and cool pieces for your ears. And I'm sure they wouldn't mind like helping you figure out something cool and custom to make. Because while they might do it all day, every day, that they could help you, if it's something custom, then this is the first time they're working on this. So that might be exciting for them. They might love the opportunity to work with you on that. So even if you can't afford it right now, they would probably love to talk with you about what's going to work for your piercing and your ear and your ideas. And they would probably just love to talk to you about jewelry, because I know I love talking about jewelry, and if I could order jewelry all day, every day, that'd be great. That'd be so fun. It'd be so fun to just like work on and design jewelry, right? Yeah, don't be awkward. Don't feel awkward backing out. It won't be like you're there and then they're like, oh, that's super expensive, and you're like, okay, bye. I feel like it's worth a talk with your piercer to say like, hey, I'm not sure if I can afford this right now. I'd like to save up. What do you think I should start with? You could even ask your piercer like, hey, how much, if I want something custom from BVLA, what's a good starting point for me to save up to before I even ask you about it? Like that could be a good opening line for your piercer. Like when you're going in for a downsize or going in for a checkup on a piercing, just ask them, or shoot them an email. They're probably very willing to help you figure out what you need for your piercing. Yeah, I think I covered everything except for, if you didn't know, I probably could have said this at the beginning, but the website is probably very confusing because it's just pieces of jewelry and their SKUs, and the only people that can order it are piercers, obviously. So you can't go to the website and look up like custom jewelry. Like you can't compile gemstones and gold to figure out how much it's going to cost. It's basically just like a showpiece to say like, this is what we offer. And as far as I'm aware, things I've seen on BVLA's website are like things that people have ordered already, or just collections that they launch with like the original gemstones. So you'll see things that piercers custom order. At least I obsessively look on Instagram, so I see things and I recognize them. I'm like, oh, BVLA sent this to this piercer who custom ordered it for a client, but that's the only version of this that they have, so they have a picture of it on their website. So BVLA is not going to have a picture of the piece you want with the gemstone you want unless someone already ordered it and has it in them. You know what I mean? Unless a piercer ordered it like for their inventory, but those tend to be like a little bit more simpler options. Anyway, I've rambled on a whole bunch. Hopefully it made sense. Hopefully I can edit this down to like be a little bit cohesive and not too rambly and repetitive, because I always am. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down below any other questions you have in regards to maybe body jewelry, piercings, finding good body jewelry online, anything like that. Or anything tattoo related, anything piercing related, any videos that you would like to see from me, just let me know. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. I would really like to grow my channel, talk more about good piercing, good body jewelry, safe piercing, because there's not enough of that on the internet, especially on YouTube. Hopefully that's changing. It seems like it's changing. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching my video. I love you. See you in the next one. Bye! Whatever. Jeez, I'm too awkward.